Step 1. Make a story. Before you start animating, you need to make sure you know what you're doing. This is particularly easy with Ninjago stuff because usually you get a prompt, like an evil video game, maybe a gang of evil motorcyclists. The point is, the characters and sets you're going to use are provided, which means that all you've got to do is make a story based around these things. This is the most creative part of the process, so I can't tell you much. It basically just follows all the basic writing rules. You know, develop your characters, develop your world. Is your story plot or character-based? One thing I should point out, though, whatever you do, don't stick to the plot of the show. Be creative. Think of whatever you want to do. This is your world, you can do whatever you want with it. Beyond that, there are 2 points that I'd specifically like to make. Firstly, scripts. I don't usually use them, some people do. But basically, scripts mean that your dialogue is planned out, which usually means it ends up getting better. One problem I've personally noticed with my series is that my scenes of heavy dialogue can sometimes be quite short, which is good sometimes, but it doesn't really develop the characters in the way you most want them to. Remember that good animation is intriguing, but what's really going to get you places is a good story that's going to hook your viewer. Step 2. Animation. Stop motion is hard and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. One look back at my old videos and you'll see that I didn't even used to do stop motion. So yeah, I'm not going to go too deep into this. It's pretty simple as a concept. Just take every movement in individual frames. Let me show you an example. See, it looks like he actually moved. As you may know, I have very little expertise in this area and there are much more qualified people here on YouTube. So just go look them up if you really want to know more about this specific section. In regards of hardware and software, I'm definitely not using the best stuff. I am just using an iPad, a very old one at that matter, so animating is a nightmare. As well as that, I am using Sunlight. That is a bad idea if you have better options, which I do not. If you look at the first few episodes of my 3rd season, I tried to use my bedroom light, and then for a couple of other things I used a lamp. It just doesn't look good, so yeah, if you have something that looks good, then use that. And then as for software, I have no idea what all the fancy people use. I just use Stop Motion Studio and then edit in iMovie, so I'm not the person to ask about what the high-end stuff is. But yeah, I use Stop Motion Studio Pro, which costs money, but I mean, the original free version is still okay to use. Just be prepared for a lot of pro ads. Step 3. Voice acting. And other audio stuff. You don't have to change your voice that much, just as long as you can differentiate between each character. For some reason, we all try to stay faithful to the original cast, which is something I've kind of questioned, but just run along with. So again, if you want to do your own voices for any characters just because it's easier to do, go ahead. That's one option. If you have something of a following, then one option you'll always have for variety of voices is voice actors. This community is filled with people who would just love to voice for other people. And, on that subject, I haven't voiced Garmadon in a long time, let me know. Now, onto music. Kevin MacLeod, the god of royalty-free music. Respect him for being the creator of pretty much all of YouTube's soundtrack. As you can see on the screen right now, he's made all of his music free to use by Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. I'm not quite sure what that means, but basically it means that anyone can use it as long as he gets credits or whatever. One thing I should note is that you want to use music in more than just the intro, so you've got an interesting soundtrack. It just makes it a lot better, trust me. Sound effects, they're pretty important because you want to make things have sounds. So, firstly, you can just make the sounds with your mouth. But if you want to be more professional, there's an audio library, I think that's what the thing's called. Basically, you can find one on iMovie or Stop Motion Studio or pretty much anything. So yeah, use one of those. You don't want to make the sounds with your mouth, trust me. Step 4. The other things. Think of your season title as quickly as possible. Most of this isn't a competition, but you're in competition with all of the other Ninjago animators to think of your season titles first, because if you think of something that somebody else is going to use, you're copying them, and then you are not allowed to exist. Also important is your intro. You can just stick to the tried and true method of having your character do something on screen and then just have their name appear right next to them. It's happened so many times, but nobody ever gets bored of it, so just go ahead and do that. You can use music, whatever you want, but most commonly it's the remix of Overture, you know, the da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, or that one song that goes, we don't know, blah, blah, blah. You know the one. Okay, that's it. We've passed on all we know. Now, go out there, make a Ninjago YouTube channel, hit 1,000 subscribers, and then give me all of your ad revenue for helping you get this far. You're welcome. This is DS, signing out.